There's no birthday party in here for me. There's no birthday party for me in here. I think that's how it went. There's nobody in here for me to confirm, but that's fine. I'll take partially misremembered Fast Times at Ridgemont High quotes for 200. Good morning to you. Yep, I got nothing. I got my yogurt. I got some coffee. I have a subtle reminder for people to buy a t-shirt. I got that. EJ, good morning to you. Les, good morning to you. Less is truly more. Yeah. Les is a funny dude. Les is a nice dude. Les is a good-spirited, warm-hearted guy. I enjoyed my time when Les and his buddy Mike came to Sullyville years ago for a class. We had a great time. And that's really the important part. Don't you think? Yes. Jeff, good morning to you. I had asked for some topics. Okay. I gotta not shout. I feel like I'm shouting. I gotta remember to not do that. And I'm gonna try and stay here in my NPR voice. So good morning to all things considered, nothing considered, no thoughts to rub together. Sarder. Merci. Yeah. Shit, what was I going to look at? I was going to look at something over here. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, as mentioned, I've got absolutely nothing to talk about. No ideas. I've always got something to talk about. But, yeah. So this is going great. This is going great. People are like, tens of people all over the world are saying, hey, that Sully guy. Sully? I don't know. He's doing the breakfast thing. We should watch. Tens of people around various counties in a very small area of the world are thinking that, and I'm failing all 9 of you. All 8 of you. But that's okay. Yeah, man, Sawdust and El Pastor. We had a lot of that. We had a literal box of sawdust, courtesy of my friend Doug Cower. Good God. He did that to me once again, maybe like a year or so ago. And I had to I say, Doug, it's funny and all, but I am incredibly allergic to Spanish cedar, which is the stuff that Doug makes most of his guitars from. And so, like, not when I say I'm really allergic, I'm talking like throat closes, chest is tightened, and so I had to ask him. I'm like I can't, I forgot what it was that he sent me. It wasn't P90 screws. I still have some. I think it was sometimes we both get pre-cut, undercut, and radiused fret wire, and he gets like medium jumbo, like even like his medium jumbo to me is small, but I think it's probably a little bit more of a traditional medium jumbo than what I use. I'm gonna say medium jumbo, maybe one or two more times. So sometimes he'll need stainless steel fret wire because he has a couple of clients that prefer that, and so like I'll send him a set and he'll send me some. I think that's what it was. I needed some medium jumbo nickel wire, and so he sent me a set, and it was encased in Spanish cedar sawdust. And when I say encased, I mean encased. So like, if you're a normal, sensible person and you want to save on shipping, if you're going to send somebody, 24 pieces of fret wire, you're not going to put it in like a large box unless you're the folks at Cower Guitars who love a good joke. And I love a good joke. I just don't like one that closes everything up. But anyway, like, so the thing showed up, and I remember it was on the porch, and so I went to go get it, and I brought it inside, and before I even opened it, like, stuff started going. I'm like, I'm gonna have to figure this out. So yeah, so I had to say, please, no more of that. And then I remember he actually needed a Floyd. I don't know if he ever finished that guitar. Maybe he did. He needed a black Floyd and some stainless steel fret wire, so I had one I could send him. It's funny, I really need some Floyds now. And so and he also needed some stainless steel frets, so I put that, and I like hid frets one like elsewhere in the box. So like, I don't know if they ever found it. I don't know if they used it, but anyway. That's the. I love Dog. That was fun, but I'm like, please, no more Spanish fucking cedar. Woo! That shit's brutal, and it's kind of too bad. Although it's not an economical wood choice anymore. For a while, it was able to be obtained at a pretty reasonable price. Definitely half the cost of like mahogany at the time, and it sounds good. And I mean, it's kind of like mahogany, but it's snappier. Kind of like Limba or Karina for those of you playing along at home. Yeah, so it's really expensive, and I still have like one neck blank that's like, it's like some flamey Spanish cedar, and it would be cool to like make a neck out of it. I just I don't think, as they say, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Jim, tea and cinnamon rolls. All right, okay, all right, I can get down with that. What kind of tea do you like, Jim? And I don't drink a lot of tea, but I do really like Earl Grey tea. But I don't put anything in it, which I believe is incorrect. I believe you're supposed to put some milk in there, but I don't know. It just doesn't. That doesn't do it for me. I just like it. I just like it plain. Oh, Dave coming in hot. Snort a line of that Tim Hortons grind. Dude, that should be a tagline for them. That sounds good. That sounds good to say. Hey, snort a line of that Tim Hortons grind, okay? You don't have to if you don't want to. Sorry. That terrible Canadian accent is sponsored and endorsed by Mike Potvin, lovely Canadian of Potvin Guitars, who told me that all you have to do is do your best Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters voice and add some stories, and then you can be Canadian. So we can do that. And he said it, so I'm gonna say that's good. So get some of that Tim Hortons, No, but see, now I went like Wisconsin, so okay, I have to go. Okay, who brought the dog? Okay, that's my grounding. Okay, we're gonna move on. Yeah, see, that'll open the airways. Les, no, he didn't draw. There were no drawings in that one. He did throw in the shirt, but like, Like, I'm not fucking wearing a shirt. It's covered in Spanish cedar that I'll never get out of it. So, yeah. Jeff, I used to really enjoy the podcast you and Paul Roney and I used to do. Well, I guess it was Roney's, but it really helped tolerate my commute. Yeah, it was. We had a good time. I would imagine that listening to that in the morning when you're trying to drive to work would be kind of difficult, because I would say 95% of the time, if not 100% of the time, we were shit-faced. Which, to be fair, we did always kind of look at it as like happy hour with some guitar builders. But, oh man, we were pretty much always hammered. I used to enjoy them too. Obviously, the podcast doesn't exist anymore. At least I don't think it does. But it was, yeah, I appreciated that people listened to it. And I still remember one of the iTunes reviews of that podcast was, the title of it was "Too Drunk." That's fair. Yeah. Let's see. All right, we had black coffee and cold pepperoni pizza because I am a monster. Oh, hey man, whatever you got to do. Today is an English breakfast tea. Man, Jim, you're fancy. I like that about you. I like, that's cool. I enjoy that. I don't know that. I'm sure I've had English breakfast tea. I'm trying to remind myself. Number one, don't get too caffeinated. Don't sound like a crazy person, and keep your voice here, because usually I get too caffeinated and then I'm shouting at you, and who needs that? Nobody. And then usually for the rest of the day, my voice is strained. So I'm going to try and remember to stay down here. I can feel it. It feels different. So I'm going to try and just maintain this feeling. Maybe I'll come a little closer. Yeah. Jeff, so us being hammered made it perfect. To be fair, is that a Canadian? Is that, Dave? Is that your Canadian accent grounding phrase? Although I don't think you need a grounding phrase because you're Canadian. I would imagine as a parent of a young child, you are also in grounding phase. Hey, you're grounded. You can't. You can't go outside. Outside. No, it's not outside. That's Wisconsin. Anyway. See, there's a lot of bleed once you get up north. This podcast got me through my bathroom teardown and remodel. Did you start like drinking along with us? I mean, that would make sense. When was the last time I've been out of the U.S. and what country was that? Well, Sardar, my man. I'm going to do my best to not go down the rabbit hole of how much I want to move to France. But Mrs. Sully and I visited Paris in April, and it was without a doubt the best time I've ever had in my life anywhere doing anything. It was the absolute best. It's like we were there for a solid week. It was great. Yeah. And then 6 months prior to that, I got to, Mrs. Sully and I, we got to visit our friends Rodrigo, Isa, and Vero, and down in Santiago, Chile. And that too was like amazing. That was fucking great. It was so much fun. It's a beautiful place, and I would love to visit again. And and what was fun is that 622 right there came with me for both trips. So that's fun. Yeah. I would love to be able to go back to France um, next spring. But Mrs. Sully and I were just kind of talking about that this morning. And there are some other places we want to visit. My buddy Mike Squires was in Portugal and really spoke highly of it. So that's, and we also saw that episode of Somebody Feed Phil where he was in Lisbon. Was it Lisbon? Oh, Mrs. Sully says, yeah. And that was just beautiful. Oh my God, that place looks amazing. So I would like to visit there. So we were kind of thinking like the the dream idea would be to go to a few different places. Maybe be there for 10 days, 2 weeks, and visit Paris, maybe visit Bordeaux, Portugal, maybe Spain. That'd be pretty rad. That'd be super rad. We were watching, we like to watch Travel Man with Richard Ayoade. And he was, there was an episode where he was in Zurich. Yeah. And oh my goodness, Zurich looks like the greatest place. So that's also like on the list. And also I think Zurich would be tough for me to leave too. Well, it would probably be easy to leave because I believe it's like one of the most expensive places to live in the world. So like there would be that, but it's kind of like all the chocolate, and I like all the chocolate except white chocolate. White chocolate can fuck right off because it's not chocolate. It's shame on you. Anyway, that I think that concludes our international travel segment, or maybe it doesn't. Nobody knows. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I got 40 more minutes on this clock. I'm not saying we're going to go 40 more minutes. I'm not saying we're not. But I think that, yeah, so that was those are the places that we've been. And that was, when I was a kid, there have been times, we like went to Niagara Falls and went on the Canadian side. And that was like so long ago that I don't really count it. I mean, I don't really remember, like as an adult, I've only been out of the country those 2 times. Yeah, Dave, yes, come visit Schiz Creek one day. Yes, I would love to do that. Dave is so sweet because, he's not too far from some of the places that Schiz Creek was filmed in. And so, he'll in the past, he sent videos of, hey, here's the, and that's pretty fun. Ooh, Martin, I'll let you know how Norway is when I go next year. Well, that's exciting. What's bringing you to Norway? I mean, a plane, I presume, but yeah. If you get the chance to go to Japan, I highly recommend it. I would love to go to Japan. I would love to go to Japan. I bet the Japanese food is really good. That would be a place I'd like to go to. I feel like I would maybe need some sort of handler in Japan, and it seems like an intense place to visit. And I could be totally wrong, but I mean, Les, I'm sure that you've been there in your travels. Yeah, I mean, like, when am I gonna? I'll just happen to find a handler. Hey, so hey, we're going to Japan, but we need a handler. I can't do it. I've lost it. Sorry. And checks in. Okay, I was at Niagara Falls on the Canadian side at 2 a.m. on a Monday, coming home from Chicago, having a beer and watching karaoke. that seems like an interesting way to get from Chicago to Massachusetts. Was it like a multi? I don't know. All right. Having a beer, watching karaoke, learning about Cuba, having some food, hiking in the fjords. He's pining for the fjords. Pining for the fjords. Rad. Okay. So in the Facebook group, I asked for some topics. It was a stop in Canada on a road trip. Okay. That makes a little more sense to me. That makes, I got it. I get it. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Oh, did I not post that in the group? I posted it just on the page that I need some topics. All right, that's cool. Then I guess let's go to the Sully Guitars page. One thing that I should point out is that we are having a Labor Day sale. I'm not trying to sell you labor, but I am trying to help the people get some lovely Sully guitars at a discounted rate through this weekend. So, we do have some, let's see. The pickup poles need to be aligned with the axis of the earth. And which tone wood makes the best club? Two-part question. I think that pickup poles, not only to be aligned with the axis of the earth, but you have to find there are different kind of magnets. There's Alnico, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if there's a 6 or a 7, but there's an Alnico 8. There's also, ceramic 5, 2, 3, so on and so forth. And so you have to find the correct magnet. And not only do you have to make sure that it is aligned with the Earth's axis, you have to make sure that it matches the same polarity and is aligned with your chakras. That's the thing, that people don't get when they're pickup shopping. They just think, I can just put a JB in it and it's going to be fine. It isn't. The real people know that you have to do all of that. And then you have to have your whole rig alkaline balanced if you're even going to get close to any kind of tone worth a damn. Everybody knows that. What kind of wood makes the best club? That would be titanium. So there you go. That's for Steve. Do you have any idea what happens to a butter-based frosting after 60? This looks like this was a copy and pasted headline from like a clickbait article, because all of the letters, not all of the letters, the first letter in each word is capitalized. Do you have any idea what happens to a butter-based frosting after sitting 60 years in a poorly ventilated English basement? Probably nothing good. Or nothing. Which inlay material sounds the best? Nobody knows. So Scott asked a question, and Jeff, you're answering my questions for me? Come on, man. I'm the one looking for topics. Why are headstocks so critical to design? Let's talk about, I will speak seriously for a minute. We'll get to that in a second. I spent 4 Sully customs on my daughter's last semester of college. See, here's the thing. How much happier would you have been if you would have spent it on 4 Sully customs? I know I would have been much happier. But congratulations on it being the last semester. Or is it the final semester? Or when you say the last semester, you mean most recent and there are more to come? Ooh, it's a lot. Oh, it's a sign. That was a Seinfeld reference? Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. The cake. Ah, yes. And she's so sorry. And then it was like, and Peterman was like, you're going to be basically what's going to happen to your your internal system is going to be, you know, enough of an apology to me. That is great. Thank you. It, that was one of the things that Perry and I, when we were still kind of sharing housing at NAMM shows, and we would do a podcast where, it was kind of like everybody was kind of decompressing and probably drunk. And one of the things we wanted to do was get a Seinfeld script and just do a read through. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. And I would love to do that. It would be fun. And, we were trying to figure out okay, and you remember, stay down here. We're trying to, we had the conversation like later on in the week. I'm kind of thinking about like, well, who would I play? What would I want to, like, I don't want to be Jerry. Kramer's too much of a visual. I don't have the explosiveness of George. Personally, I think I align most with Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld. So like, I think, and I'm thinking, I think I'll just be Elaine, and I'll just, just read it as Elaine. And I remember the next time I spoke with Perry, Ice Machine, he's like, well, I thought about who each of us would play. And he's kind of hemming and hawing, and he's like, and I think, and I don't know if he was thinking like that I was going to be offended by this, or maybe it would be some sort of put down or something like that. He's like, I think you should be Elaine. I said, I absolutely agree. But yeah, so we were gonna do that, and there is a somewhere online, all of the scripts are hosted and they're like in script form. So it was just like, let's print off this 37 page whatever script and let's do it. But like many things, we like to have we like to come up with ideas, just fun, silly ideas that we think would be entertaining, but we don't necessarily follow through on them, much like our collaboration guitar. But that's okay. Good morning, all in Steubenville, Ohio. Can't hear anything. No headphones. Send help. Good morning to all in Steubenville, Ohio. Is serious even part of your vocabulary? Yeah, of course it is. Final semester. That's good. Travis, oh, wait. What did I say in the serious part, though? Did I say I was going to be serious about something? Oh, I did. I was going to answer the question. See, okay, I totally derailed, but now I'm going to remember. I'm coming back. I'm doing well. See, like last weekend, I was just a hot mess. I was over caffeinated, and yeah, it might have been interesting or entertaining, but yeah, it was not. I don't think that was one of my better live streams, but who cares? Well, I guess I care. Okay, so why are headstocks so critical to design? I think one of the challenging things about headstock design, or we'll just stick with headstocks. Seems focused. I think one of the things. So you've got. So the headstock serves a purpose on most guitars and basses. And so it has to be functional. And generally speaking, the tuners have to fit, right? The strings have to be able to reach the tuner and not collide into any other tuners. So that gives you some kind of, that places limitations on you to begin with. Something like a body shape, of course there are limitations there too. But if we're just talking about like the perimeter, the outside of a body, you kind of get all your stuff in the center, just speaking generally. And I've got 6.66 gigabytes of available memory on my computer. I have this little available memory thing that's kind of fun. Available memory is not much here. So, generally for a body, you can kind of stretch out a little bit more. Of course, you have to take certain things into consideration if you care about the person that's going to be playing it. No, I won't say that. But on a headstock design, so you've got more limitations. And then those limitations can be compounded by, how do you want your strings to go? Do you want to try and keep it a straight path from the nut to the tuners? Are you going for a 6-in-line? Are you looking for a split head design? So like once you identify all of those things, and there are even other things that you have to take into consideration, like distance from the nut to the first tuner. Theoretically, there is a golden number for that sort of thing. And I only learned that somewhat recently. I don't really follow it, but there is that. And so when you get all of those things planned out, then what do you got to do? You got to try and make it look pleasing. And I think the thing that is a challenge, that in and of itself is trying to come up with something that looks good. That then others will agree for the most part. I mean, because, if your point is to sell these things, you have to make them visually appealing to people. And that is a challenge, especially when you consider the fact that the guitar buying public is a very, very, very conservative demographic. People want guitars there's a large swath of people, large group of people who want guitars that haven't changed from their original designs from some almost 70 years ago. It's kind of like, think about the cars that were made 70 years ago. And so it'll be like, 50s. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yes, I did have to do that math. I don't necessarily, I can appreciate, like, I love a 53 Corvette. The old 50s Ford Thunderbirds were super cool. Obviously 57 Chevy, like all of that stuff. I get it. But I wouldn't want that as a everyday car, right? But anyway, so I'm getting away from this, and let's just say that the guitar buying public is very, very, very conservative. And what is kind of interesting, you can look at some of the guitars whose designs are skewed more for the modern guitar player. And what is has been interesting to me over time for those companies um, is that after a few years, and this is just an observation. There's no I have no feelings toward it. It's just an observation. I'm not saying it's good or bad or whatever, because the whole point is for guitar companies is to balance uh, the meeting your own creative needs, making a functional instrument that you can be proud of and feel like it's a good offering to to the field, I guess, and then sell the fucking thing, right? This is a business, and if you want it to be a for-profit business, then you need to sell these things. So, what has been interesting, I've noticed over the past couple of years, is some of those more modern guitar companies. Maybe they're headless, maybe they've got multi-scales, maybe whatever. All of a sudden you see, hey, that this has like telly style appointments to it, or telly style like design elements, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's and I could be completely wrong, but to me it seems like there's almost a hint of, when I see stuff like that, it's like, okay, it's like trying to get a cat to come to you. It's like, yes, okay, so yes, there's a little bit of like a telly, or maybe let's say like a Strat style, maybe pickguard or something like that on this. Something that you are familiar with, that you will be able to, that will help you acclimate to the rest of this, which is different. And maybe I'm completely overthinking this, but I'm not usually accused of overthinking anything. But that's, so you have to balance all of these elements. And like the other thing with headstock designs, is that the headstock shape that you use, so it's got to be functional, it's got to look good, but it also has to match the body, because it is like a complete thing. And there's it has to fit. So it's all of these constraints, functionality, style, palatability, and what's the best word for that? Agreement with, or a continuation of the style, so it looks like a complete piece. It's like, I'm sure you've seen all these memes or whatever, that or like people that I've seen like this butterscotch telly that somebody built, where the top half of the body, like for the top half up, was all telly, and the bottom half of that body was like a pointy V, and it's like a meme guitar. It's a no. I mean, it doesn't. That doesn't agree. And I think you have to have all of those things. And I think with some models, I've done that better than others. But it is a thing. And, the other thing too with headstocks is that they are very, it's one like I'll use Jackson for an example. The Jackson headstock is consistent across its models. They don't, I know that they have other headstock designs, but by and large, it's pretty much the 6 line. And you see a silhouette of that, that's Jackson. Same thing, Fender strap, blah, blah, blah. And so, you're still dealing with perception, and sometimes people just don't accept. So you gotta. It is challenging to come up with something. Um, yeah, that's pretty serious. I hope that's. I, yeah. Okay. There you go. Uh, let's see. Oh my goodness. How much happier would you have been if I bought for Sully? Well, very much. It was a rough week. I'm sorry, dude. It jacked up the fees over 8K because she's one semester past 4 years. Dude, I'm sorry. That sucks. Let's go here. Favorite deodorant. I'm personally using Brute at the moment. That got a laugh out of Mrs. Sully. Good job. Whatever's unscented. I do not like scented things. I try and be a very unscented person. What's weird is that I'm not much of a sweater, even though, it's like 1,000 degrees here. So, yeah, I do. But I don't generally get too spicy from an olfactory sense. But so like I have I get like a couple of sticks of Mitchum, which is pretty strong, and I don't know. I don't generally need to use it every day. But anyway, so yeah, I don't anything unscented. So there you go. Oh, and like going back to this, so like when I said I don't generally get too spicy, like Mrs. Sully would tell me if I was kind of spicy, and sometimes I notice I'm like, ooh, I don't like that, and it was like like puberty finally kicked in. So what an exciting time for me. We all love sparkle finishes. Kyle doesn't love sparkle finishes, but that's okay because I still love Kyle, so that's okay. He's a very lovable dude. How do we feel about Crackle finishes? I really don't like them. I didn't then. I was surprised that they came back, but then again, when I think about it, I guess I'm not all that surprised because everything is very cyclical. I think, yeah, I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. I don't like seeing it on shabby chic furniture. I don't really like shabby chic furniture, but yeah, I don't like Crackle one bit. Would I do that on a custom order? Maybe, as long as our paint folks are cool with doing a Crackle. I guess I probably just wouldn't post many pictures of it. Let's see. Here we go. Isn't Axe the only answer? That's probably what Gene Simmons uses. Rodrigo, you're going for pizza now. All right, my buddy. Get you some. New Crackles don't do it for me. My Fire Crackle Model 6 is fantastic. They still do Fire Crackle and stuff like that. And there's a Jackson that was like a Crackle over Sparkle. It's like, okay, I see you're trying to get me, but I don't like it. I don't like it. What I would like to do sometime is, and I've wanted to do this for years, is to do like a gold leaf top. I think that would be really cool. Or a silver leaf top. That would be fun. Yeah. Martin, how do you feel about Crackles? You know what? I don't like Crackles, but I love Grackles, the bird. They're the best. I love those little guys. I feel bad for them, especially this time of year, because like here it's 4,000 degrees because I live in the ninth ring of hell. And everything outside, when you look at grass, trees, plants, whatever, what have you, and including the wildlife. It's just like seeing some shit. It was just like, ugh, beginning of the season, like grackles, especially the males. Those are the ones that are, you know, iridescent and just elegant and just so just lovely. And this time of year, they're just like they look like they've been through some shit. There you go. I personally love Crackle, but understand it's not for everyone. Just like me. Um, what about an engine turned top, like the dash of a '77 Trans Am? I don't know that I understand that. Like a graphic, like a dashboard graphic on a guitar. Um, if somebody wanted it, I guess. I might be having trouble visualizing it, but I mean, could be cool. Like I always say, deposits make things happen. Okay, we have some other questions here on the extended scale or extended range guitars. It's not really a question, but it is a topic. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other about them. I know they certainly serve a purpose, and they obviously have a large market. And good for my buddy Perry for starting this. For doing. I mean, and I know that there were others that were doing this too. But from a guitar standpoint, I think Perry was one of the first people recently over to really kind of get on with the multi-scale thing. And he absolutely had he was at the right time, right place with the right product, because it's gone gangbusters. And I think the popularity of multi-scale extended range instruments over enough. I mean, I give him a ton of credit, because at the 2019 NAMM show, we participated in a reverb panel about modern guitars, and it was I didn't I've talked about this already, but at that time, that was 2019. Like Perry had already been doing this for like 10 years, and I remember the first NAMM that we did of when I was there because he had said, "Hey, I was thinking about getting a booth at NAMM, and if I did that, would you help me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I would." And so that whole time, it was a lot of people. There were obviously fans of the brand that were there and very excited and knew about the whole thing and were happy to get their hands on the first ones, like the prototypes for the GTR series and all that. But there were a lot of people that were kind of like, "What's up with the frets on those?" Or there were people that wanted to try them. And I remember, I would just say, start playing around the ninth fret, because that's the parallel one on most of the Ormsby's, and then kind of work your way out, and don't look down, and you'll get acclimated. And I don't think you have to do that so much anymore. You don't have to. I know I really only did that for the first year. The second time we were at the booth, second year, a little bit of that, and then after year 3, we were kind of doing our own kind of thing. But but still many. But yeah, so I was doing it a lot less. But like, so I mean, and then for the major manufacturers to finally acquiesce and realize, and not even acquiesce, but realize that, oh, hey, there's a market here. So we really need to tap into that. I mean, so that's, I can't imagine, there's the demand for them are, will remain. I mean, that is just a part of, that's just a part of what guitars and basses are now. I think like everything in, especially in the industry, you're going to go through your waning points, but yeah, those are my thoughts. Do I ever think I'll make one? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I know that I don't have any plans to. And there's like also kind of like a part of me that would, if I were to make a multi-scale version of one of our models, even though in reality I don't think it would be, but there would be a part of me that felt like I'd be like stepping on Perry's toes a little bit, which in reality I don't think that's the case, but it kind of has that kind of pops into my head. Let's see. Okay, Dave asked, to short scale or not to short scale? I generally don't. However, this year we've made more short scale guitars than I ever have. So I one of the things that I decided when I was gonna, needed to make some short scale, primarily 92s, is, there's a million different versions of what short scale is. Is short scale 25 and 5/8 like BC Riches or some Gibsons, or like even like when they say it's 24 and 3/4, it's not 24 and 3/4. It's usually like it's either 24 and 5/8 or it's 24 and 9/16, which that's not 24 and 3/4. Fucko. So I thought that if we're gonna do 24 and 3/4, let's do 24 and 3/4. So I offer an authentic short scale. Who cares? Let's see. So yeah, that's my short scale thing. Yeah, we've got a fair amount of 92s in the process right now. I've also been there's because I have there are a couple of builds in process with pale moon ebony fretboards, and I've been trying to get away from using that particular material. Number one, because it's hard to find. Two, the stuff that's readily available doesn't quite look as good as the stuff that I used to be able to get my hands on. And finally, that wood is crazy. It wants to just self-destruct until it finally stabilizes. And, unlike cooking a turkey that pops up when it's done, you can get your moisture meters out, but, it wants to crack. It wants to do everything that it can to not do what you want it to. So some of the guitars that I've been making that have that stuff on them will have carbon fiber rods, and then I had some extra carbon fiber rods, so I started kind of expanding that out. Do I think that they're necessary? No, not really. I mean, like on a bass I could see it more, or on a thinner neck I could see it more, but it is also one of those things that I can kind of incorporate it into the process. So it's just kind of like, well, we're making the neck, we're cutting a truss rod channel. Like, it's not like, the way I've got it set up on the toolpath right now, it does seem to take a long ass time to cut those channels. But that's me. I'll have to fix that. Ooh, our live stream will end in 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Huh, we did it, guys. Yeah. That really had no point. Short scale. How am I liking the Vernonate? It's fine. One thing that I don't know, maybe I don't really get a chance to A/B stuff. I just, Vernonate is basically our salty bastard model with a magnet swap. So like I already know that pickup sounds good. Putting an 8 magnet in it is going to change it a little bit, but it's still going to be fine. I'm not. I don't have a secret science test lab or anything like that because number one, I have no time for that, and number two, I just know that that'll be okay. And when I say that, it's not like, oh, I know everything, dude. I don't fucking know anything about anything. The Vernonate, I've got, I just started, we just have a bunch on hand. So, I've been using them in more things. So yeah, it's fashion business, dude. It's a good sounding pickup. What is this? I almost make it sound like marriage. What am I talking about? You got me. What did I do? Travis, we're running out of time. You're gonna have to fill in the blanks. I skipped. I missed something. I still love the strawberry milk 92 you built years ago. That and the green. Oh, DJ's. That's a Galaxy, long gone. That got painted over soon after he got that one because he was going to use it for a video that had some green screen stuff in it, and so he asked me to respray the face of it white, so I did. We've done strawberry milk 92s a few. There's a couple. I do love that color. That was I love that color. Oh, okay. Yes, the in-depth look at the neck being disturbed. Yeah, Pale Moon Ebony is very self-destructive. Yeah, so I would like to stop using it. And, I can just stop buying it. But then, like, sometimes I'll see it and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. If I get it and forget about it for like a year, maybe that can be something good. But anyway, yeah. So, right. Well, that's it. That's all I got. Go to SullyGuitars.com. Buy a guitar. They're 10% off this weekend. If you can't buy a guitar, buy a shirt. We have these in the merch store. These are an exclusive batch of shirts right now. I don't have much left, but you can buy what I do have. And I encourage you to do that. So, yeah. All right, kids. Well, have a lovely day. You know what? You have a lovely every day. Have a great existence. I hope that everybody's nice to you. And I hope that you're nice to everybody you come across because it's nice to be nice.